Well, he had 4 seasons of underachieving and undisciplined football, and that organization's just a mess. We kind of said so in the beginning of this podcast. Just a mess of organization. They have the general manager who's on leave for his health, which we all know that's because they just decided to cop out on the Sean for molestation. It's just a mess. So we all saw this coming.
Oh my gosh. I just was surprised by what you said. No, of course not. I agree with you completely. I've been saying it's a really big mess of an organization. They needed a scapegoat for this year after their horrible season ending, and it had to be the coach and not the quarterback. So I think the Cardinals are just gonna keep on with Kyler Murray, and they're just gonna try to find another coach that can actually tame him. Because we actually saw Kyler Murray actually yelling at his coach during the season in the sidelines, everybody watching. I don't see that happening besides Aaron Rodgers, and he's no Aaron Rodgers. So when you lose the respect from your quarterback, that means that this team is just dysfunctional.
Sean McVay.
No, he's not.
He put himself in the hot seat.
No, he didn't put himself in the hot seat.
Yeah, put me on the hot seat, I might retire type of thing.
I mean, okay, if you want to call it that way, but he just might retire. We just don't know. It's out in limbo.
But just like Kyron was trying to get into it. Yeah, they kind of did the same thing for that team, like the Rams did. They got DeAndre Hopkins, which I don't know if you guys saw the news. They're actually going to trade him. They're looking for picks, so it looks like they're just going to start all over. And
they're going to start rebuilding,
a rebuild, yeah. I saw just a few minutes ago that they're looking to trade him away.
I mean, is it rumor reports?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're the one that saw it. I didn't know that either.
It is. It's there. They're trying to trade him.
Who's the source though?
You guys.
Well,
Twitter.
Twitter.
I don't know. Here's Yahoo. Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
Cardinals plan to trade DeAndre Hopkins 4 hours ago. So.
Okay.
There you go. So it's a little bit more legit now that I put Yahoo Sports.
Yes,
okay. Well,
for sure.
That's happening, and there you go. That's just the number one sign of a rebuild. Once they figure out what's going to happen with this GM, get rid of him too, because I'm sure he's going to be.
Yeah, because he's the one that extended both Kliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. And I would assume a lot of people were just, those are head scratchers right there that you don't think, because they weren't doing that really well. Yes. Yeah, I feel like that particular move is actually a GM losing against the pressure from Kyler Murray and the head coach. Like, they're saying, if you want me to continue playing, you got to pay me. And also the head coach, I need to get paid more. So, or extension so I can feel better. So that's just you just failing at the negotiations. And look, he's out. He's gone.
Yep, he is gone. But I don't know if you guys realize this. He's on leave. You know how you can't fire anybody because they're on like leave, medical family. I don't know if it's the same case here, like in the NFL, because they're contracted or some, some to some certain extent. But if you're like in a workplace and if you hear you're about to get fired, you can go and leave, and the employer can't touch you. You can't be fired until you return, obviously. So I don't know if that's the same case here, because I would imagine that you would move on from the general manager, Keem, whatever his name is, after the stunt he pulled.
Well, it's not a certain like thing. It's not a report that explains the whole thing. There's just reports out there of how things went down and down in Mexico when they played San Francisco. That Kugler, the coach, was being mistaken identity with the general manager, and they all pointed the fingers that Kugler did some bad things with. Right. I don't know, with some women, I think.
Right.
And he just got blamed for him and got let go.
Right.
And then later we found out that,
it
was wrongly accused. So I don't think the Cardinals organization wants to like show even more like worse than they actually do, and more attention to themselves in that way. So they're like, maybe they're just things under the table that we don't know, that they're paying off Kugler for him not to go back and attack them, for what's it called, slander against them. And also for the GM is saying, you're just going to go like on leave and we're just going to cut ties with you. That's basically, we're cutting ties with you.
Another news thing I saw today is Kliff Kingsbury is actually, or Patriots are interested in interviewing him for their offensive coordinator. I haven't heard anything about Joe Judge and the other bozo. What's the other bozo?
Patricia?
Yeah, that one. I don't know if they've gotten let go. I'm assuming they are. After this season, so I mean that might be a good matchup.
Yeah, I'm still surprised that they haven't announced that they're gone. I was expecting a lot more fire or terminations from the NFL than Kingsbury and Lovie Smith from the Texans, and also some off coordinators as well. But mm-hmm.
Every year it's the same thing with Jim Harbaugh. It's like he stirs the pot of him coming back to the NFL, only for him not to come back to the NFL. So I don't know if this time it's real. It's going to stick around. There are some good head coaches vacancy that's available. For me, I would like him to go to the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm not sure with Jim Harbaugh. Like you said, every single year it's the same thing. Either he stays with Michigan or he goes somewhere else. He actually got extended last year in 2022 all the way to go to 2026. So now, because he lost in the playoffs in college, now he's thinking of going to somewhere else. And if I was him, I would just choose either the Chargers or the Broncos. But the thing with the Broncos is that they don't have any cap space and I think draft picks. So we'll see. Well, did you just say that he actually just said a few recently that he was going to stay in Michigan? Oh, okay. So it's been a while. No, he
No, he
actually
yeah.
had he actually had, if I'm not mistaken, Yams, you said that he had a Zoom meeting with the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I didn't say Zoom. That's a plug pay. Yeah, he had a virtual meeting with.
Okay, virtual meeting. Oh, it's not like we say Uber,
Yeah,
but all right, fine.
yeah. He
The problem.
yeah. They had an interview, right?
Yeah, but the problem with the Broncos is that one, you don't have any draft picks. Two, your cap space is like very limited because you're going to be paying a lot of money to your quarterback. Three, maybe you're stuck with Russell Wilson. I believe that he just had an off year. I mean hopefully if he continues next year having a down turn, then they're going to have to figure out a way how to deal with that quarterback situation. Maybe they have to draft a quarterback in this draft just in case it just comes downhill and just put a little bit pressure on Russell Wilson. And even though I think that Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks out there, it's just last year he's giving a lot of people a lot of a scare. But the obvious position, the obvious team to go to is the Chargers if Staley gets fired or not, the coach Staley. So if Staley doesn't get fired, then I think it's going to be the Broncos, the best place to go to.
Well, yeah. In terms of quarterback, yeah, of course, because you have Herbert. But what about the division? I think Panthers is the best division to go to. If you think about Buccaneers, Tom Brady's he's not going to be there. Saints, they're still finding out their quarterback and their problems itself. And then you have Falcons. They have Mariota and they had another quarterback. What's his name? Riddler? No, Desmond or Des something like that.
Right.
And that's a kind of an open division in my opinion. And
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to go for the draft again. Probably the
get
Atlanta
something
Falcons.
in the draft.
Yeah.
So I think that's an open division. I think that'd be the perfect place for him to go because the Denver Broncos, quite a tough division to be in. And then, like you said, you have a Russell Wilson, which we don't know what happened to him this year. Like you said, maybe it might have been an off year. We'll find out. But that is a tough division.
But don't you think Jim Harbaugh wants to win? I think he has enough money to just go to a place like the Panthers and where they're going to be paying him a lot of money, and he wants to win. I mean,
I think he can win with Sam Darnold.
No, here we go again. Not Sam Darnold again.
No, come on. Everyone wrote off Alex Smith, and he was like, "Yeah, I can do something with him."
Yeah, very true. But the thing with Sam Darnold is he gets injured every single year. So when a coach is going to be going to a team, the number one thing they look at is who's going to be my quarterback. It's the most important position in the team. And if your quarterback is not even available, then why am I going there?
I just don't think Chargers should be even in consideration right now because
No, they're going to have to wait. As like Sean Payne, they're all waiting to see how it happens after the Super Bowl to see what's going on in the offseason.
So you think Staley will get fired if
they're 1-out, yes. If he goes deep in the playoffs, then probably not.
I don't know.
Come on, you have a great team. You have Herbert, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You have Mike Williams, Allen, Eckler. You have a big time defense with all those players with Jackson, Bosa. It's now what's the linebacker's name? He's a monster too.
Bosa?
Like Khalil Mack. Like, geesh. rebuilding. Yeah, playoff season. That's, I think, the best part of the NFL season, in my opinion. Win or go home will start off on Saturday. Because there was going to be 3 games, but because of the unfortunate situation that happened with the Bills game against the Cincinnati Bengals, they had to make some changes there. So we're going to have 2 games on Saturday. We'll start off with the 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. Who you guys got?
Just because of the defense for the 49ers, I just don't see Seattle coming out of this one. That's a tough defense to win, and again, they're just smother any team that go against them, and Purdy's been pretty good, so 49ers for me.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I wouldn't say it's going to be an easy game for the 49ers. The problem with the 49ers that I think is that we have a rookie quarterback. So if you put a really good big time defensive coordinator to really rally this kid up, then that's when they're going to have their issues. Take the X factor of Christian McCaffrey out of there and just make Purdy do his things and take off some players out of there, like some wide receivers. I don't know if Deebo Samuel's going to come back and Ayuk, and you just have to figure that out against him, and you'll have a good chance. But I am going with the 49ers because, of course, they're the better team, and they might even be the best team in the NFC. All right, so on Saturday, we also have the Chargers against Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Who you guys got?
I didn't particularly like how Jaguars played against Tennessee this last game, and for me, it's going to be quarterback over quarterback, and I prefer Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence, and I just feel that Herbert already has that experience under his belt, and there's a rookie quarterback in the playoffs for the first time, so I'm going to give it to the Chargers.
This is an interesting game. I don't think it's such an easy game again for the Chargers. Uh, Doug Peterson, the coach of the Jaguars, he's a very experienced head coach, and he actually won a Super Bowl. So he's actually going to do some things against the Chargers that are just not going to make it so smooth for them. And Mike Williams actually got injured last week, so if he's out, that's a big factor for the Chargers. I yeah, but it's not 100% certain still. So I'm gonna pick the Chargers because it's the better team, but I wouldn't count the Jaguars that easily out. Okay, the next game, which is on Sunday, uh, the New York Giants against the Minnesota Vikings. Who you guys got?
Yeah, this is the team that everyone's been saying it's overrated, right? The record's overrated, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. But all season long, I've been calling the New York Giants a fluke, and Giant fans might hate me for this. I still think they're a fluke. I don't think they should be in this in the playoffs, to be honest. So I'm just gonna go with Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, you can go conservative and just go with the Vikings because they do have the best offense, but the defense is not that great. And Coach Dable, he is a pretty good coach. I mean, look what he did with the Giants. The Giants haven't been good for like the last 4 or 5 years. Like they've been terrible, and now they're in the playoffs. They have Saquon back after the 2-year ACL departure. And Daniel Jones, they're going to be using his legs. So he's got an arm and he's got some legs. I know he's not the best quarterback, but Dable is doing a pretty good job in putting him in the right position to be successful. So I'm going to be taking the Giants on this one as my upset for the weekend, I believe. So that's my pick.
Very disappointed.
Why? For sure.
Minnesota has not a horrible defense. They have a bend but don't break type defense, so they do defend. I don't recall Giants pass defense. Do you? I mean,
And then we have Kirk Cousins that struggles big time on primetime games. And then if you're going to be pressuring him, now that they have an okay defensive line, especially with Thibodeau in there, I think they can do a good, they can rattle them up. And then Cook has been struggling too. Yeah, I think so too. That's why I'm going with the Giants in this game. Next game, we have the Buffalo Bills against Tua and the Dolphins, if he's even playing. Who do you guys got?
okay, so I might be a little hated for this, but it's a little scripted that they were able to score two special teams touchdowns against Patriots last time. It's a little too scripted, and you know, but I don't know. Could it be scripted that just go all the way to the final?
Who are you talking
Buffalo?
about? Buffalo? It's not scripted. That was my choice to go to the Super Bowl. How is that scripted? And I wasn't the only one. I mean, a whole bunch of people
It
have
just
them.
seems it's a little scripted for particular reasons. But anyways,
Oh,
yeah.
because of what happened again with Hamlin, or I mean, that was just recently.
So anyways, I will choose Buffalo over Miami Dolphins because where's Tua? That's it.
Yeah, Tua is the factor here for the Dolphins. When he went to Buffalo, everybody thought that Miami was actually not going to play so well because it was in the cold and it was going to be snowing and but it didn't snow until like the very end, and he didn't play that bad, but he's been like plagued with injuries, and I think that's affecting him, and especially in the cold weather, it's going to affect him even more. I'm thinking. So even if he plays, I'm still taking Buffalo because they're just that of a dynamic football team, and they ended it in a high note, and they're in this past week as well. So I'm going to take Buffalo. All right, the last game for Sunday, we have the Bengals against the Ravens. Who you guys got?
For me, it's the same thing here. Is Lamar playing? Is he not? It's a big factor if he plays or not. So I think they're saying that he is likely to play, but it's not 100%. So if Lamar is not in, it's just the Bengals are going to win this one. I don't think Huntley has what it takes to win a playoff game.
No, for sure. It's the Bengals. Even if Lamar plays, I've been saying that Lamar, he's been playing strategy because of his contract. He hasn't practiced in a whole month. So imagine coming back after a whole month to play in the NFL in a playoff game against the Bengals, like a really hot team right now. No, I'm still taking the Bengals regardless if he plays or not.
And I think they just got a deal with Roquan Smith, and that might have rubbed him the wrong way too.
Yeah, it's a 5 year, $100 million like contract, and they haven't paid. Even though I mean they have offered him a big
Money,
time
right?
contract. It's just not what he wants. He wants like a 4 year deal here, kind of like Prescott and big time money all guaranteed like Watson. So yeah, for me, if I was the Ravens organization, I'm also in that position to also think about paying him. It's super hard. It's extremely hard. That's why I debate about this topic so much because it's extremely hard to find a quarterback. It's super hard. And you're in the AFC because you have their Mahomes, you have Burrow, you have Herbert. Like it's a big time conference and you need a quarterback to play, but he gets injured also often, and to go and look for a rookie quarterback, and then you're also like, I don't know, it's a coin toss if they're actually good or not. I mean, you would think that they're good, but look what happened to that class with Mac Jones, um, Zach Wilson, uh, Justin Fields. Even though a lot of people think he's really good, Justin Fields, but look, he got injured, and it's going to continue being injured because that type of play with quarterback of just running around and getting hurt, that's going to continue to happen. Look at Hurts as well, a running quarterback, and he got hurt. Tell me how many quarterbacks that are that mobile besides Patrick Mahomes, but that's because he's a really good pocket passer too, and also Russell Wilson also were pocket passers too at some point that they're that confident to be winning that Super Bowl. But besides that, I mean, there's a whole bunch of running quarterbacks, and they cannot go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of teams out there that would like to get Lamar Jackson on their team, and they'll give a first rounder for sure and pay him. So no problem there. All right, Aaron. Uh, this is this is the game. Probably the most televised, like the most gonna be the most watched game of the whole playoff. Yeah, I'm sure they did. We have Tom Brady against the Dallas Cowboys. Who takes it?
I've said this on this podcast many times that I do not like to bet against Tom Brady. It sucks for the Cowboys, honestly. I mean, they put up a stinker against the Commanders. That's a blessing in disguise because now they can go and fix on their crap that they weren't able to do against Commanders. Show up. They didn't show up. So hopefully they show up and Dak Prescott plays a little better because honestly I think it comes down to quarterback play in this game. It's gonna be a defense game. I know defense and Micah Parsons gonna come out and play hard against Tom Brady. But with Dak Prescott, how he's been playing lately makes me a little nervous, and it makes me want to lean toward Tampa Bay.
Man, I feel for you as a. It's really hard when you're a fan of the team and you're actually think that you're hoping for them to actually beat Tom Brady right now. But in this game, it's a playoff game. This is where Tom Brady shines the most. I am with you that it's with Dan Quinn against Tom Brady to actually take his weapons off, like Evans off. I know that Diggs is going to be on Evans. It's for me, I think it's the Cowboys that just need to have that running game work. If that running game doesn't work, then they're going to be struggling and might even lose this game. And then you might have the issue that McCarthy might be fired. But they did put on a stinker against the Commanders, and I don't think it's going to continue again. They're going to play really hard this week, so I am going to take the Cowboys. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they lose. So we'll see. Well, it's the playoffs. It just happens in the playoffs. It happens. Except the Giants. Yeah, except the Giants. And then the Ravens. Well, yeah. I mean, looking at all of these games, a lot of these are lopsided in my opinion. Like the Bengals and Ravens. If Lamar doesn't play, it's the Bengals easily. The Bills against the Dolphins. I think that's a lopsided that the Bills win. And then the 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks, they have for me, that's the scariest team of the NFC because the Eagles, they have so many injuries. And Hurts actually played last Sunday, and he actually admitted, yeah, I'm still hurt. So it's not that simple. And I think 49ers are just have a complete offense, a complete defense, and a tremendous head coach. So, and I'm pretty sure that defensive corner is going to also maybe even be a head coach somewhere else.
I just don't know about this game against Tom Brady and Dallas Cowboys. It's for me just how Dak Prescott, who's been struggling as of late, has been playing. And I know the Buccaneers don't have the same defense that they had 2 years ago. They're 15th ranked in defense, but
and their offensive line is decimated
and their
too.
offensive, yeah. So it is a Dan Quinn against Tom Brady. I understand that. But the Cowboys just make weird decisions, and
Yeah.
if they don't stick to the run and they keep late on Dak Prescott, we're gonna see a close game here, and I don't know. In even if it's like 45 seconds on the clock and the Cowboys are up and Tom Brady gets the ball, the Cowboys are losing that game.
Yeah. The only thing that I can say about that, it's exciting on the Cowboys defense side, which I haven't even seen him that much, even though he does appear sometimes, but not as much as in the early. No, is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is the X factor for the defense. Yeah, he does have a hand injury. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, because he has to push and move around, and yeah, of course it affects him. So it's to see how, but he is actually the X factor there because they don't throw it too much with Diggs anymore. As you can see in this season, they pretty much he has become sort of a shutdown corner because they don't throw it his way. So they've been attacking the other side. I know Brown got injured, and that's the only side that's been attacking as much. So the Cowboys have been trying to figure that spot out a lot. Yeah. I'll tell you I'll tell you something. The Cowboys know what you're saying, and because when they played the Commanders, they kept the offense most of the game out there, but with the defense, they sat a lot of those players like out after halftime. A lot of those starters on the defensive side were just sat out, and they just continued with the offense because the offense couldn't do anything, and they know they know that they need the defense like big time on the playoffs. So yeah. Last point that I want to say about the Dallas Cowboys is Dak Prescott. If he doesn't play well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this playoffs, the Cowboys have to look at him and see if they have to make a change at quarterback. It's been it's been 6 years already that he's been with the team, and if he can't perform in the playoffs, you have to think to move on. This game that he played against the Commanders, he was playing like a rookie, trying to like force things because he had those interceptions. Then he was trying to force it with those long passes, saying, "Look what I can do! I'm redeeming myself." Instead of just getting some first downs to be able to win the game. Again, football is chess. It's not Madden. Video game is completely different, and you don't do those things if you're a professional quarterback. Uh, yeah, I think the Cowboys learned their lesson. If they continue doing that, then they're stupid. Honestly, I think Zeke, this is his last year with the Cowboys. After this year, I think they can move on from him, and I think that's what they're gonna do because they need some cap space. And with Dak Prescott, there's next year is gonna be the biggest paid quarterback of the whole league. So from Zeke or Prescott. Oh, I disagree with you. The quarterback is really, really important. It's like, what do you turn to? I don't. The only thing I can see something like that happening is if they actually talk to Aaron Rodgers secretly. You need to get somebody better I'm serious, as a step, yeah, a bigger level than Dak Prescott. You're not gonna go and see with the draft. You have to keep rolling with Dak Prescott if you can't find somebody else. And Zeke, you have running backs. You can figure out with running backs. You just need a good old line, and and just a decent running back. So, yeah, I think Zeke is the one that's gonna be out. Yeah, I think Zeke is gone. And Dak, they're going to talk to him to restructure his deal because it's too much money in this coming year in the cap space. Yeah, I think so too. No, a team. I do like. There's a lot of things that I do like about Dak Prescott. He is a team leader. I know he wanted to get paid like every player should and want to get paid. I mean, yeah, I don't blame them for trying to get it. No, and the Cowboys should know that. Just like the 49ers with Garoppolo and with Purdy, they're not the best quarterbacks, and they look at all the success that they have. They know that that's not the game plan, and they figure things out with the running game. So, yeah, for sure. Yep. What do you mean? The playoffs? Oh, it's Saturday.
Yeah, it's this week. Yeah, it's coming down to this weekend.
You got me really confused. I'm like, where are we? Am I... Yeah, that's before the Super Bowl, and they play the Pro Bowl. Flag football. Thank you.